Hello and welcome back to the Vintage Room. I am film nerd Corey, and today I'm not talking about film, I'm talking about tapes. And you're probably thinking, why on earth would you be talking about tapes? Because they are inferior in not almost, they are inferior in every way to other formats like records and CDs and high-res music digitally. But really lately I've just been tinkering around with it because it's fun. You know, not necessarily that you're getting something better out of it. It's just something fun to do because I'm a big tinkerer and audio and video nut. So that's what I'm going to do, tinker. I may have said this in a previous video, but just to give you a refresher, this deck is my dad's, and he just gave it to me because he didn't really care about messing with tapes at all. So I've been tinkering with it lately, and of course some of the things that I had to do, because it's a 20-year-old deck now, is I replaced the belts in it and gave the tape heads and other metal bits a good cleaning, and just pretty much gave it a good servicing. I'm certainly not a pro at it, but I've been learning and working on it. And my first attempt at the belt fix didn't go well because the belts that I got, of course I got one of those giant bags of choose your own size, so I tried to get one that matched, and it was too loose, so the tape was all wobbly and sounded terrible. So then I gave it another try, got a tighter belt, and I think that did the trick because now it plays much better. It seems to be right on where it should be. There's a few other quirks that I need to work through, but nothing major. So if you can spot in here, let me pull it out for you. This tape on side A is actually this MP3 player that I got off of eBay, and it was featured on Techmoan. If you don't know him, you should check him out. He's got lots of cool gadgets and audio videos. And I've got this old 8 gig SD card with just some random music on it, and it can do up to 320k MP3, which is reasonable for what you'd expect from something like this, but it works really well. It's got a battery built in, it comes with a remote, and sounds good if you have a tape deck and you want to put MP3s on it. And then, of course, over here, what's currently playing the VU meter is the metal tape that I got. And I actually lucked out because, something I've heard before is that metal tapes are going for insane prices now on eBay. But I just happened to come across this one, brand new, sealed, for $10. So I grabbed it. And indeed, it was brand new. So I thought that was really cool. So this is a good way to experiment to see just how good you can make cassette sound. Because like I said, this is all about just experimentation and remembering the old days, because when I was a kid, I was doing all sorts of mixtapes and recording things on cassette. So the metal is the Type 4, and I've also been recording with Dolby on as much as possible. Of course, this deck only goes up to B, because it's not a fancy deck, but it gets the job done. It does a pretty good job of it. So, Yeah, I'm going to play for you something that I recorded. This is actually, I just played it off of the Cambridge Audio on a CD, and it's from the YouTube library, of course, because we don't want to get in trouble with the copyright police. I played some music off of the Cambridge Audio into the tape player, and then I recorded it using this little thing, my little Zoom recorder that I do a lot of recording on, especially on the one hand, I use it a lot for my job in recording voiceover, but also recording records at high res. So it's a good, solid, professional recorder. It's old, but it does a really good job. And let's see how that tape sounds being played back, and how it compares to the original. So as you can probably tell from that example, it sounds really good, and that's coming straight off of a metal cassette tape. And I bet a lot of people would be hard-pressed to tell the difference between that and CD. Sure, you know, us audiophiles can tell the difference, but maybe not most people. If you were just playing that in your house or your car, it doesn't really stand out as being, oh, this sounds terrible, it must be a cassette. Like, no, it actually sounds really good. And of course, you know, that's the highest end cassette, and that was just Dolby B, not C or S. You know, you'll want to check out Techmoan's videos if you want much better examples of that. I'm just giving you my take on things and what I've been experimenting with. I just bought this stack of blank cassettes from Amazon. They're still available, even though they've been out of print for a few years. And, you know, it's just the most basic cassette. It's ferrite, I think. Not chrome or anything like that, just basic. But this is the sort of cassette tape that you can use if you're just wanting to make some purposefully lo-fi mixtapes. For instance, over here, I just made this one. Synth music. More specifically, 80s synth music. And you can see my track listing here. And if you go on bandcamp.com, you'll find a lot of these from artists like Mitch Murder, Power Glove, Cluster Buster, and World Eater is one from the Hungarian synth artists all-stars compilation. But anyway, yeah, search around for that stuff if you want some really good grungy 80s synth music. And I just picked this one up for a reference guide because I needed to, you know, have something pre-recorded so I knew that my tape deck was sounding right. So I got Huey Lewis 4, if it'll focus. Yeah. And this is a pretty good reference album because it's got chrome tape in it. I don't know if the double D there stands for noise reduction, or is it just saying digitally mastered Dolby system? It doesn't seem to sound better with it on. It sounds more muffled, so I'm thinking it's not noise reduction. But anyway, you know, sounds pretty good for a 30-year-old cassette tape. Yes, and also sometimes you might just want to click record and pause and then just have your music going into the tape deck so that you can have a nice VU meter bouncing up and down, because that's a great addition to any hi-fi system, and that is something that my system is sorely lacking. Other than the tape deck, nothing else does that. So yeah, we definitely need some bouncing VU meters here. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoyed this little detour into the cassette realm and my fun experiments with it. And until next time, see you later.